facts. And mind you, she says she's not religious. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I didn't think it'd be that big of an issue.
Yeah.
But she's like, you can't do that on Easter. And I'm like, it was 420. And then she's like, but God. And I'm like, okay, I'm practicing one of these.
Yeah.
Guess which one I'm practicing.
This is God's creation. He put it on earth for me to roll it into something and light it on fire and breathe it in.
Look, burning bush, man.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Punk Peludo. I am Elijah. I am the punk.
I am Peludo. I am Justo.
Yeah. So this is a podcast that I was told that I was needing to do in order to show off some of the amenities at Canvas & Co. Studio, but also I figured that it would be a good time to try and flex entertainment shit that I want to do.
I mean, honestly, I think we talked about doing like something like this anyway in high school.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not? Why not now? Now that we have the amenities and we're showing them off.
One of many white guys who's like, "You should start a podcast."
The world needs your opinion.
Yeah, we really do. There's nothing redundant about anything that I'm saying, and I have a view of the world that nobody else has.
Yeah, and you know, I'm so focused. I never go on tangents.
Yeah.
There's no way that any of this starts at one point and I just completely forget where it started.
Yeah. And there's no way that we did not set out exactly what the podcast was going to be beforehand and just go in and talk about the Iron Claw like an hour before this.
Yeah. Oh, was it like 30 minutes?
Well,
it wasn't a lot. But
we're up to like an hour and 30 right now.
Well, I like wrestling. I ramble.
Yeah. So the idea behind this was that I would give Justo something to watch, and he would give me something to watch.
Yes,
he
sir.
chose the Iron Claw. I chose Blue Velvet. It's a little bit of a cultural exchange, you know.
Yeah.
Because I don't talk to my Mexican friends.
Yeah, and you know, all we know is violence.
Yeah.
Nah, but I mean, I'm not a film buff, but
I mean,
this was a good movie that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
It's something that, you know, even without it being just a great production, it's something that, you know, my family and I feel like we have personal ties to.
Yeah.
Since I mentioned my dad was there witnessing it as it happened, and then now he gets to kind of peek behind the curtains with this movie to see how everything happened.
Yeah, I mean it's a really interesting product just in terms of like viewing it from the lens of like Texas, you know.
Especially we're in Dallas.
Yeah.
Most of the movie, at least the wrestling, takes place in the sportatorium.
Yeah.
That was in Dallas.
Well, except for Japan.
Yeah, well, that's why I said most of the wrestling.
Yeah.
The most of the movie can take place wherever it fucking wants.
Yeah.
But the wrestling in the sportatorium is down the street, essentially.
He didn't even get to wrestle in Japan, did he? He just like clocked out.
He got to Japan.
Yeah.
I don't remember if he wrestled or not, but I don't remember if they mentioned in the movie, but one thing that's always mentioned whenever you talk about that story is that Von Erich always shows up to whatever they're scheduled. So,
yeah.
even though, you know, it so happened that he passed away there, his dad made him go.
Yeah.
There was no choice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we're probably going to talk about it, and if there's any hard cuts, then, you know, that wouldn't be anything on the part of the edit. You know, I was, like, contemplating whether or not to, like, throw up Iron Claw shit up on the screen as well. You know, like I don't know, like a clip from it or something. Yeah, like a GIF that like keeps repeating. And I was like, okay, what if I did like some meme shit? And then I was like, this movie is so
it's
like sad. Like,
so if you want to get into it immediately,
yeah.
I don't know how much you researched into this.
Yeah.
And I don't. You said, you know, like before we started, you said you know a few things about the Von Erichs.
Like I know that apparently they were like from Denton area is like where they were like, you know, based out of, and how that's where their farm was and stuff like that. And I know that they originally weren't Von Erich, and then the dad changed their last name. I'm assuming like for wrestling stuff, but you said that there was like some kind of like
okay, so let me get into that in a second. But so you're saying that the movie's really sad, right?
Yeah.
You know that
There's a whole other brother that they did not
they
include
they
in the
kind of
movie.
combined the two younger brothers
Oh,
together
okay.
into like a single character. Not
Yeah.
completely, but
Yeah.
somewhat, because in test screenings,
Yeah.
people found it too repetitive and too sad.
Yeah.
The reality.
This is unrealistic. The amount of like brother death in this movie.
They're like, it's repetitive, sad.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that your story is so heartbreaking. It's so tragic. Even to the point where it's repetitive.
Yeah.
To the point where like the movie was like, the production and everything. They're like, well, we kind of have to cut a brother, like completely. And
Yeah.
it sucks because like you think about it, there's not a lot of mainstream acknowledgement on the Von Erichs. Like you go to the WWE and like they'll mention like things about it.
Yeah.
But it's not a widely known like story.
Well, this is also before like WWF was like huge as well, I guess. Like in the 70s it was like huge. But this was like pre WWE, right? Cuz there was like two channels or something.
So the way it goes is like we talked about before like starting recording.
Yeah.
At the time, wrestling was very territorial.
Yeah.
So like you go to Tennessee, you're gonna go to like a certain wrestling organization, and that's really what you see. Like that's the big show around town.
Yeah.
That's where all the big names go. And like you go up north, there's like if you've heard of Bret Hart or like the Hart Foundation, they had their own wrestling organization going up in like Canada and the north.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So like they, everyone had their thing going, and
well, like Canada has its own broadcasting too, so that would make sense.
yeah. Like even then, like if you were basically part or like at least in some sort of partnership with the NWA, it was all kind of unified, but you operated on your own. It was just whenever like the NWA championship that would be valid across any of these territories, any of these like organizations, like they recognized you as such. There wasn't any like misunderstanding or anything about like, oh no, I'm champion, I'm champion. And occasionally there were like some things where it's like, oh, there's two champions at the same time, how'd that happen or something. You gotta kind of just go with that. But like, so it was like a network. They all were connected, but they didn't necessarily always work with each other.
Okay.
So Ric Flair, he shows up in the movie.
Yeah.
They talk about the NWA championship.
Okay.
Ric Flair was one of those stars that were bigger than any one organization.
Okay, so you would like go over to like different organizations.
He was still like NWA property, but it'd be like, oh, you could go to like Tennessee or like go to Texas, go defend or go wrestle out there. And like you're representing us as the NWA, not necessarily like any one territory. Like
and like for the Von Erichs, it's like one specific territory.
So the Von Erichs, they were in Texas. It was like North Texas.
Yeah.
The area that we're kind of in. So the movie, it goes like it basically shows their father, right? The patriarch of the Von Erich family.
And is he over like the specific like Texas chapter or something?
So I forgot where he used to wrestle.
Yeah.
But so the Von Erich name, we were talking about that too. They changed their last name to Von Erich.
Yeah.
Because it was Fritz's gimmick. So they, in the wrestling industry, they have the term like heel and face. Yeah. Heel is the bad guy, face is the good guy.
Yeah.
And what's a good way of getting heat, right? Like what's a really easy way of like getting heat back in that time? Because you think like 80s, 70s, it's like what instantly makes people like hate you?
Being German,
being a Nazi.
Yeah. So shit.
So the reason their last name is Von Erich is because their dad had to be a heel. Yeah. And they're like, all right, well, what's a good way of getting heat like easy?
Yeah.
Like goose step around and be a Nazi.
Shit.
Like that is how that started.
So is the Iron Claw just like some ancient Nazi technique that he's like employing on people?
Yeah. If you notice in Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
Nah, but so that's where the name Von Erich came from. He's like, a cheap heat Nazi.
No shit. Okay.
So that's how that's why like cuz you go into the like wrestling industry and you see like everyone using like like different names and stuff.
Yeah.
But that one was just they're like, you know what, be a Nazi.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's how Fritz basically started. And he worked, you know, but you never really want to see the bad guy win,
Yeah.
especially during that time. They were more like cut and dry. They're like the good guy's gotta like even if you gave him like a win or something, it's always followed up by like the good guy
Yeah.
dominates him.
Yeah.
So sadly he never really got that like big championship moment.
Right, and that's what
Uh,
he was like kind of vying for throughout
yeah,
the whole film.
and that's why in the movie you see him like trying to live that out vicariously through his sons.
Yeah.
He wants his sons to get that moment, and that's why like I don't think that's the only reason, but I feel like that's the reason that he wanted his sons to be like, you know, the hometown heroes.
Yeah.
Because it kind of helps in that momentum going towards that championship. You get that like build.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so they all kind of like reinforced each other in that like wrestling family. Like, you know, you need someone to train with, you have your brother. And then
Yeah.
who does your brother have? He has another brother.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them. And like the oldest one, he never like he was like I think 6 when he died.
Yeah.
So the oldest brother died in I don't know if he died in New York, but I think he was born in New York because you know they were traveling.
Yeah.
So the oldest I think it had something to do with New York, but like he passed away.
So I guess the oldest was probably in like the flashback at the beginning of the movie that was in, like,
yeah,
black
if
and
you
white,
see
right?
whenever they're all like together,
Yeah.
once they pass
Yeah.
in the movie, you see a little boy that's the oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I don't really remember the beginning of the movie. It's been a minute. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
remember
yeah.
him like it shows Fitz wrestling in black and white and everything.
Yeah. They shot all of that on film too. Like it apparently like the approach behind it is that they wanted to do it on film and he always loved film, the cinematographer, and like a lot of movies what they would do is they would like just film it in color and then like color shift it to
And
black
then
and
like
white.
post.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even he was like, nah, I need to do a different type of film specifically for the black and white. So they like
He went for the very practical.
yeah,
approach.
yeah. And it really works for it. I don't think that like they were using like specific like cameras that they were using back in the day for like wrestling and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but it feels like
Yeah, it still has that sense of like, you know, it's still native to that.
Yeah.
It's not the exact same procedure and everything, but it's
Yeah.
still native.
yeah, and I mean like, you know, all of the stunts and shit were practical too, which is insane to fucking see.
They had like
Zac Efron High School Musical just like fucking bounce off of the rope into another dude.
the casting, man. I
Yeah.
want to talk about that too. But,
Yeah.
they had I forgot who he played. I think it was their fake relative because that's also something that happened. If you notice at one point, one of the brothers get like really sick. I don't know. I don't know if it was David or
Well, it's the brother in the movie. We're-
the one that's combined.
Yeah, we're fucking great at remembering people's names.
Fuck that shit!
Anyway,
That's what that is.
yeah. But yeah, the second brother, he's like thrown up into the toilet, and then like Zac Efron walks in, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you're like really sick, right?" That's who you're saying
so-
like got combined.
No.
Or-
The youngest one, the one that
Yeah, the one who
Good.
like played guitar and
yeah, because the one that was throwing up into the toilet was I think one of the older brothers.
was that Kevin?
No, Kevin's the one that survived.
Okay,
Kev-
Kevin is the oldest,
Yeah,
or was second oldest.
something like that.
Yeah,
around
because the oldest died when he was 6.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't remember the youngest one that in the movie. The youngest, yeah, real life and combining brothers is so fucked. But, like, in the movie, you see him. Like, if you actually watch the clip, it's so like daunting.
Yeah.
Where like they have the press conference right after he gets out of the hospital, and he's just like his eyes are like dead,
Yeah. Like Jesus Christ.
like
you
glazed
mean
over.
you mean like after the stuff that went wrong with like his surgery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hard to watch, but
Like again, this movie is so like dramatically sad. I like it feels like The Notebook for
Oh,
men.
okay. So like the actual scene isn't that bad. No, I'm talking
Yeah.
about like the real like interview.
Oh
'Cause,
Jesus.
yeah,
Okay.
they still have recordings of it. It's
Yeah.
like it looks so bad. But yeah, so uh just watching that and like seeing how he's basically just gone at that point.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to watch. But they kept him around, but so because he was basically too gone to like really wrestle. If you notice, all the Von Erichs, they're very prideful about their family.
Yeah.
They introduce, I don't remember if it was like a cousin or something. He's not related to them at all, like not at all. But they put the Von Erich name on them because they need someone else in their team. And at the time, they're like, well, your brother's like really sick. He can't really do anything.
Yeah.
So you know what? We'll just grab this guy that's like coming up, and we'll just put we'll put the name on him. And they were like the siblings were also against it
Yeah.
because they're so prideful in their family.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't want someone that's not part of their family representing them.
Yeah. And it's like a family business at
Yeah,
this point.
exactly. So that person, I can't remember his
I
name.
don't remember this guy in the movie. You're not saying he was in the movie,
He's
right?
in the movie.
Really?
He's a very tiny bit in the movie. They have a wrestler that goes by the name MJF,
Yeah.
and he was very popular in AEW, I believe, when this movie came out.
Yeah.
So really great on the mic, really great wrestler. I don't really watch wrestling as much anymore, but
Yeah.
I still hear and see things from like just because I'm already so deep into that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it'll pop up for me on like my social media and stuff. But like he's so good. They cast him as that like person, that character. And yeah, so like their casting choices on some things were great, but like that character itself, like they don't really give him a lot of attention. But honestly, like it's not really warranted because
Yeah.
it's something that they kind of see as a blemish on like their legacy.
Well, that and like I feel like so much of the movie is so focused on like the relationship between the brothers and like
Yeah,
the
like
parental trauma.
that's
I
why in the
guess.
movie they like I think it's Kevin that brings it up where he's like like why are we doing this? I don't want like someone that's not our sibling.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I do think I remember that
You know,
now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
but other than that casting choice, because he's a great wrestler, that's awesome. Like they got someone that's actually like doing stuff, and it's not even like oh they have to do it with like a WWE. They use someone that's outside of WWE for that role. That's awesome. I think that's great.
Yeah.
But so when it came to the casting of like Carrie, I leading up because I saw pictures of Zac Efron. I think it was 1 or 2 years before the movie.
In that fuck ass Bob.
Yeah, they're like he looks like He-Man. Like,
That's fucking
but
crazy.
so the issue I have with it, if you look at the real life wrestlers,
Yeah.
Carrie, the one that was going to be an Olympian, built,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
built and tall.
Yeah.
Kevin was kind of scrawny, like not really, like he had muscles on him, but like he was on the slimmer,
Yeah.
like leaner
Yeah.
side. Because Carrie was like built, and like Kevin was like leaner. And then you look at the casting choice, and like you see Zac Efron as Kevin, looking like He-Man, looking
Yeah.
like,
He's huge.
and then what's the actor's name for Carrie, the one that's in the Bear?
Yeah. Jeremy, I think.
Jeremy Allen White, I think.
Yeah.
I think I would have preferred him as Kevin.
Yeah. I like.
He doesn't
to
have that
me-
demanding presence that Carrie had, and I feel like if they would have switched Zac Efron
Yeah.
and Jeremy,
yeah.
it would have been like it kind like I guess you're going more for the emotional sentiment, but it's just so like weird for me knowing what they looked like
Yeah.
to see the buff guy be Jeremy and then Kevin, which is like on the leaner side,
Yeah.
be like He-Man.
I would say like performance wise, I didn't really notice anything too like.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like they're great actors, both
Yeah.
of them. Like they, Zac Efron, even though to me, like he's always tied to like High School Musical
Yeah.
because that's how I grew up. Right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
watching him do that, but like seeing him do this emotional role and everything, like it's great.
No, they fucking killed it.
But like it's just like I don't know why I just can't get over the physical like difference
Yeah,
from the actual real life wrestlers
like
to
it's interesting too because with Zac Efron, like he specifically was like working on his body for like ages. Like as soon as he got the role, I think he said like he did nothing but like bodybuild for like 6 months. So like I think the difference between like, you know, Jeremy not being able to like get as like fucking yoked as Zac Efron did is because like he was probably working on the bear and
yeah
had other projects and
yeah
shit.
and but
And like
even
Zach
then
just was like, I have to do this.
it's like but I know it just it's so weird to me like it's because it's one that's obviously like way bigger than the other in real life and then in
Yeah.
the movie it's like they're switched
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
character's still there the character is still that honest like I'm gonna do what's right for my family and
Yeah.
like
Like Zac Efron's performance in that movie is just so like it feels like watching a dog get kicked over and over again. You know, it's
oh
just it's
yeah
so like sad. Like there's no other way to put it. It's just like whenever he is like realizing all of the things that is happening to him and he's like trying to prevent his son from like carrying on that like just all the hurt that they've
oh
accrued over
and
that
then
time and she's like
that
it's not his
scene
name and it's like oh yeah I know it's like dude shut up like you are full on thinking right now that if you name your son Von Erich they are going to get like screwed over.
yeah no but I mean again like what can you do other because there's points in life where you're like
Yeah.
it's got to be a coincidence but then at some point you're like even if it is I'm not taking any risk
No, yeah. Even as I was watching it, I was like, no, these motherfuckers are cursed. Like,
yeah yeah
there's no
and
getting
like
out of
the
that.
fact that in real life it was worse like
Yeah,
it's so crazy
yeah. I like the other thing too. The thing that I love about it is that like with the father, it's like they don't always portray him as like this piece of shit. You see all these positive qualities of how he's like gassing the boys up, but like even then, there's like a little bit of an edge of like he's approaching it from a perspective of like
I want what's best for my boys
well I want like I want excellence out of them without any kind of like room for anything else, right?
hmm
And like I think that's what's so good about the writing of that film because it allows you to be able to understand why they're coming from it from that perspective, but still not be like, yeah, he's fucking his kids up, you know?
yeah well I
Like,
mean you look at it from Fitz it's like that's all he had
yeah,
that's literally all he had and he sees his kids and he's like you know what this is all I know
yeah,
and I'm gonna beat it into them until they can recite perfectly back to me.
yeah. Like even the line about how your father used to play instruments too, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, no, but I gave that up so that I could specifically focus on like athletics, and I
Yeah,
made the right choice."
yeah,
It's like one of those things where it's like it's a little death, where it's like, okay, so I see where you're coming from in the perspective of like I need to like expect excellence out of everybody around me too, you know.
yeah.
It's just sad to see that and like know that that's a real thing that they were
And
going through.
then like you said, he didn't want Kevin didn't want his kids like really
Yeah.
going that route.
And that motherfucker has like what, like 12 kids or something like that?
I think
Or
Kevin
like 12
only
grandkids?
so I think he had like two sons. I don't remember if he had a daughter, but
Yeah.
if you remember, Carrie mentions that he got someone pregnant before,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
he Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
but so all of their kids got into the business, and like their grandkids got in. Like, yep,
Really? Holy shit.
yep,
Wow.
yep.
Did any of the grandkids like
I think they're. I don't remember if they have like grandkids old enough, but I think they have like a few grandkids that are like getting in that or like already in that.
wow.
Yeah, they're
Holy
mostly in the
shit.
indie scene. I think some of them, went like TNA is not as big as it once was, but
Yeah.
I think some of them went to TNA. I don't remember if any are in AEW, but
Yeah.
those are some of the more well known companies outside of the WWE.
Yeah.
I think some of them were in the developmental program for WWE, but either didn't go that route or maybe they weren't cut out for it. I don't remember, but yeah, their family still wrestling.
Man. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, yeah, but the thing is, they they're not more like they're not still worried about a curse. Like now, it's
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, even still though, like knowing what you know now, just like from like
Well, the industry
head
changed
injuries and
too.
shit,
Yeah,
you
the
know?
the industry changed too. Like there's a lot of more like precaution and guidelines that they have to follow, especially since like, a lot of wrestlers tragically pass away due to some of these circumstances. Whether or not the
Yeah.
company likes to take responsibility for what happens, they still take these efforts to like kind of reorganize and like
Yeah.
change things within the system.
But I
Even
mean, like, steroids are still a thing too. So I mean, like, the juicing is
yeah,
like,
but it's not as prominent. You could see it in like the type of product that they sell now.
yeah.
Because you still have those muscle heads and stuff like that, but like that's not their focus.
Mm.
If you look when Vince Jr. was still, because technically I don't know how much. Supposedly he doesn't have any hand in the product anymore. I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh yeah, Vince McMahon. You
Yeah.
mean? He got ousted from like the Netflix shit because I know that like WWE acquired by Netflix Vince Jr., which I have learned before this is the current Vince McMahon who is shoving wrestlers into his ass.
Well, that what was it? Is it TKO Entertainment? They bought up UFC and
And
WWE,
WWE, yeah.
and at first they had him on the board. I don't know. I think because of his allegations, they like took a step back. I'm not sure exactly what his role is.
Yeah, from what I have heard, he's not involved in it right now, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they're like still like executive producing him, like Dan
Yeah,
Schneider, you
yeah.
know?
Well, anyway, his vision was always we need the biggest, muscly like bodybuilder types
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
again, Hulk Hogan kind of helped, like Vince helped build Hogan, and Hogan helped build Vince
Yeah.
because Vince kind of put Hogan in this position where he's the top star, and then because of that, the product that they were selling at the time, Hogan being the product, Hogan kind of like really embodied this very American, very like ideal way of life for people, like visually and the character he presented. So that really helped build the wrestling industry.
Yeah.
It already had a lot, like the territories were popular for what they were, but Vince kind of made it, all under his company and made it like nationwide and then eventually worldwide. So it really did grow with Vince and Hogan working together.
Yeah.
And when Hogan left, Vince chose the Ultimate Warrior to kind of put in that place. It didn't work out because the product was moving away from these big muscly men, and it
Mm.
went more towards tactical wrestlers like Bret Hart, uh, Shawn Michaels.
Mm.
These leaner, more athletic, and agile types.
Okay. Yeah. So more like I guess like stunt performances and shit like that.
In a way, it was more like about actual like grappling and technical wrestling. Even though it's
Okay.
still entertainment, certain things weren't like, oh, let's see how much he could carry. It was more about like how can he use his head to get out of the situation.
Okay, yeah.
So Vince was always obsessed with these big muscly men. One of the last ones that I can remember while I watched was a wrestler that went by the name of Ryback. You look at him and you think immediately back to like the Ultimate Warrior. You look you see kind of like Goldberg esque, but Goldberg wasn't as much of like bodybuilder type.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But so these like dominant big muscly men, Ryback, his wrestling ability was I mean again way more than what I can do, but to the standard that the WWE has wasn't the best.
Yeah.
And eventually after like I think he had some issues with people backstage and everything, he got let go. Uh the product now, if you look at all the top performers and top stars, they don't all look like bodybuilders.
Yeah.
There's Kevin Owens, a little bit more uh like different physique. You get like really scrawny guys that do great. You get all these different types of like wrestlers nowadays, like top performers come in every shape and size,
Yeah.
which is really, you know, it helps the audience more because it's like, oh, you can kind of see yourself in like some of these people, like Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, great wrestler, been around for a long time, indie scene, everything. But you don't look at him and go like traditionally like, wow, that guy's like in really great shape, but he is.
Yeah.
You just can't really see it that well.
Yeah.
But so Vince's product kind of phased out, and because of that, you look at like the Von Erichs, and that was kind of a precursor
Yeah.
because in their own little way, they were built, but maybe not as built as Vince would have wanted.
Yeah.
They
I mean, they were
succeeded.
built for like 70s bodybuilder standards.
Well, again, Kerry was definitely
Yeah.
bodybuild, but like the other brothers, not really.
Yeah.
They were lean,
Yeah.
and that works in some areas, doesn't in others.
Yeah.
And,
It's like ultimately about the performance.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Vince just didn't always see that.
Yeah.
Vince was more focused on like some people say it's an obsession with big muscly men.
Yeah. 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 For that, like, performance, I know that they like essentially choose who is going to win, right? But like, is it like a moment of like the improv in the ring, and then like it like gets decided by like who the crowd is cheering for more?
So nowadays, the way it's set up, even with like their mic situations,
Yeah.
whenever they cut promos,
Yeah.
they have like their speeches or whatever, they interact with the crowd. Nowadays, in the WWE, they I think the one in charge is he goes by Triple H.
Yeah.
I think it's Paul Levesque. His real name is Paul Levesque. He gives them more freedom.
Okay.
So when it comes to like talking directly to the crowd, they got like bullet points
Yeah.
as kind of like, just remember to talk about this and mention that.
Yeah.
But other than that, work the crowd, like
Mhm.
you figure it out. You try to go with your own flow. Just remember to hit these things and you're good.
Yeah.
When Vince was around, it was a script. Like you
Yeah.
had to, and if you mess up anything that he wrote down for you, he'd be livid.
Okay.
It's only like his top performers, like
Yeah.
The Rock, like veterans
Yeah.
that would come back that weren't full time workers. They were just like, I'm here as a favor.
Yeah.
He'd let them basically like
Do
do the
whatever.
bullet points
Yeah.
or whatever, even that. And you could see that with like certain wrestlers like Brock Lesnar, that he had that UFC thing going and then WWE, and he was kind of like, trying to go between both, like seeing which one works best for him. When he came to the WWE while Vince was around, it was like, like do whatever you want,
Yeah.
because Vince was like, I'm just grateful you're here, essentially. And when it came to like smaller wrestlers that haven't made that much of a name for themselves, because Brock Lesnar at some level transcends wrestling,
Yeah.
because he went into he was a collegiate wrestler, so he has actual wrestling experience, not the entertainment version, the actual sport of wrestling. And he went into mixed martial arts, so he is a much more diverse like performer,
Yeah.
in the sense that he's done other things outside of wrestling. Some people, wrestling is all they know, and like it works great for them. They're working the business that they know best.
Yeah.
But they had to follow guidelines with Vince, and if Vince didn't like it, tough shit.
Yeah.
So now it's a lot easier to like be open, but they still choose who wins,
Yeah.
and it's now really up to the wrestlers what spots they call. They're like, if you go, you could you could find a lot of videos online
Yeah.
where it's like during a match, you'll hear someone talking to their opponent and be like, okay, next throw me into the ropes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now like toss me into the turnbuckle, throw me down, and then
Yeah.
just hit me with like a frog splash or something. You could find that some wrestlers don't need to talk during a match for
Yeah.
it to go the way they want it.
Do they rehearse at all, or is it like?
Yeah, I think for the most part they do like runs before they start, like, because now a lot of the things that they do is live.
Yeah.
There's some things that they used to do like pre-recorded and stuff, but like
Oh, okay. I thought it was always live. So they would pre-record.
some things.
Okay.
And back in the day, like a lot of it was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
The only reason, like, so the Monday Night Wars,
Yeah.
it was between WCW and WWE. It was
Yeah.
two companies in like the 90s where
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
both
yeah,
kind of fighting for the market share.
Yeah. Before
And
WWE eventually like acquired.
bought them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So WCW pride, like its pride was we're live,
Okay.
and WWE at the time Monday Night Raw wasn't live.
Mm.
So during the Monday Night Wars, at the very beginning of WCW Nitro, they would read off because they had I don't know how they got the information, but they would always know what would happen on tonight's episode of Raw, so they would
Oh
spoil it.
shit! No way.
Yeah, so
That's fucking crazy.
at the beginning of the broadcast, they'd just be like, "Yeah, so tonight on Raw, this would happen." So you don't have to switch off the channel. You
God damn.
Yeah, so you would just stay watching Nitro. It eventually it was to their detriment.
Yeah.
Because you remember that character Mankind I was telling you about, Mick Foley, the one that did the multiple. Once he was away from that brown suit and he was in that white button up with the tie and everything, he really knew how to work a crowd.
Yeah.
So the crowd loved him.
Yeah.
And as much as Vince hated it, because again, muscly men, and Mick Foley doesn't really embody that at all. There was one episode of Raw where Mankind won I think it was the WWF Championship. Yeah, they were WWF at the time. So he wins the WWF Championship on that episode of Monday Night Raw. WCW on Monday Nitro are reading off the script.
Yeah.
As they usually do every week. They're like, we're live, they're not. We can tell you what happens. This happened last week, but, they're going to air it tonight.
Mm.
So they read off Mankind wins the WWE or WWF Championship. Do you know what happened to their viewers? Switch the channel to watch that happen.
Really?
Yep, because everyone loved Mankind.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're telling me Mankind finally wins the championship?
Yeah.
Let me turn off Nitro and let me turn on Raw because I want to see this. Eventually, they did move their shows to a live product.
Yeah, Raw
and SmackDown. I think SmackDown would be recorded up until maybe a couple years ago that they were live. I don't remember. I always thought it was live, but again, growing up, you really just think things.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure when SmackDown went live, but yeah, Raw was the first product. They're like, okay, we got to do this live.
Yeah.
Because,
it's called Raw. I mean,
but it was just a namesake. It wasn't.
I'm just saying, you call your product Raw, you would expect it to be raw uncut footage.
Well, it was more even if it was uncut footage, it was pre-recorded uncut footage. Nah, but yeah, a lot of it was edited. Again, that Mankind segment. Yeah, they were live. I don't think they were gonna be able to have 3 versions of Mick Foley just sitting together.
But wouldn't it be fucking crazy if they pulled it off?
But yeah, so
with modern developments in AI, you could probably get that achieved with Mick Foley.
I don't care.
Okay.
Fuck. Yeah. Fuck. But yeah, so going back to the Iron Claw, it's just it's such a story that I grew up with, especially being a wrestling fan in Dallas.
Yeah.
My dad was at these shows.
My mom knew about him too.
Yeah,
she would watch him on TV and stuff with her brothers and shit. So
I made it a point to take my dad because I knew how much him and my uncles too, they love wrestling.
Yeah.
My oldest uncle on my father's side, we get along. There's not really much overlap between our hobbies or interests, but I get along with him really well. He's great to me, everything. The moment I brought up the Von Erichs, I saw him light up. This is what they grew up with. This is their, their wrestlers. You see, you talk to someone, and depending on their age or how they grew up, you ask them their favorite wrestler, who their greatest of all time is. They'll give you Hulk Hogan. They'll give you Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, The Rock.
If they're basic.
Well, that's the thing. Those were the biggest ones.
Yeah.
And, to me, Mexican Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and John Cena.
Yeah.
Right? Even though I didn't really get to watch Eddie live, he passed away before I really could comprehend what was going on.
Well, yeah, but you have reruns and shit, right?
Online.
Yeah.
You can just watch it online.
Yeah.
I'm not condoning pirating.
I am.
But that's the only way you can watch some of these things.
Yeah. Fuck studios and just taking shit off of their streaming platforms for nobody to be able to goddamn watch.
Either that or trying to bury history.
Yeah, I mean, like,
but
it falls on people to be able to provide the, like, stuff that studios are not willing to let you pay for anymore. So it's like,
pay for it, yeah, but like there's certain things where I kind of get where they come, like the whole Chris Benoit thing. It's kind of hard to talk about Chris Benoit the wrestler without acknowledging Chris Benoit the person.
Yeah.
So in that instance, it's a little bit more understandable, but it's like it's still, you know, you're kind of just getting rid of, like, once you scrub certain things, it's like, okay, well, to what extent is this okay?
Well, I mean, I was like, even like Warner Brothers, you know, when they would show like their old racist cartoons, they would be like, hey, these came from like times where people were fucking racist. Yeah, so if you see a mammy stereotype, like that's what's going on.
Yeah. But even then, I think like some of those, they still, I don't know about Warner Brothers, but I know like Disney, obviously.
Oh,
like,
yeah, Disney scrubs the shit out of it. Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so like my dad and my uncle, like they would go and watch these like fights. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take my dad to go watch the Iron Claw once it comes out.
Okay.
And we went to go watch it, and he had such a great time. And I think when it's a very serious, very sad movie, but I think what I found funny the most.
Yeah.
When we were watching the movie, there was a scene that my dad's like, damn, this looks like really familiar. And then he looks at it and it shows the date. Yeah. And it was at the Sportatorium. It shows the date of when that match happened, because they give you like little time cards sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there was a specific match that it showed the time card. Like right before they showed the time card, my dad's like, man, this looks really familiar. Yeah. And then they showed the time card and he's like, oh, I was there.
Yeah, no shit.
He's like, I was at that match. I watched this.
That's crazy.
Live. Like when it happened, I watched this. Yeah. So there's things like that where it's like, you know, even in like a serious moment, or like, well, it wasn't that serious. It was them wrestling in that scene, but even in that, my dad was like, oh, like, no wonder it was so familiar. I lived this. So yeah. It's awesome, even though they did like fabricate something, like change things around and stuff.
It seemed still pretty accurate to a lot of the things that were going on. Like they had to specifically build the sets to like make them period accurate, and they like did the lighting to what the lighting setups used to look like on like the WCF and stuff like that. Like
RIP the Sportatorium.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fuck. It's like the difference between like a Heineken and a Pabst Blue Ribbon. Heineken.
Did you just want to make that joke?
Yeah.
The wait, did you bring that up because of the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask that. Did they have some sort of like,
fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
I hate you so much.
Yeah, no.
I feel like I just got set up. But did they have some sort of like
a sponsorship or something? No, fuck no, dude.
Yeah, it felt really weird seeing like the guy. Okay, so I guess we're
moving into
Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet.
Azul.
I think we'll have to like.
It's not Cruz Azul, it's Pachuca.
Yeah, I think we'll have to re-record an intro, because I just realized like we did not talk about the way that we were structuring this shit at all. So like, you know,
I'm rambling.
I know that's
about
fine.
Wrestling,
but it's like it's usable in the cut.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that like I think we'll have to like come in and be like, hey, welcome to Punk and Peludo. We're gonna talk about like 2 movies, one that he suggested and one that I suggested, because we didn't like discuss that at all. Do you want to do that now? No, we can do that later. Okay, I'm just saying like
we're midway through the recording. Might as well get it out. You want to do it at the end or something?
We'll do it at the end.
All right,
but
that works.
Yeah, fucking Blue Velvet. So you watched that in the living room with your family.
So right now, my mom started a new job, so she's not home.
Oh, okay, cool.
So the only people that were home were me, my father, and my uncle. My uncle keeps to himself. I don't. Yeah. He don't bother me. I don't bother him. Whatever. Like we have a good relationship, but it's just he's not really that present. My dad. He was doing like yard work or something.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, you know what? Because I was under the impression we're gonna do this like the following day.
Yeah,
so originally we're gonna record the following day after watching.
Yeah, I was busy setting this shit up.
Yeah, no, understandably. It looks very set up. Yes.
Yeah. I'm very professional for a white guy who was told to do a podcast.
I mean, honestly, more than what I would have done.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have set up like two mics. You know, TV was already more than I thought.
Yeah, the TV was here. I was just using it to show off what Canvas and Co Studios features have.
They also have coffee.
They also have coffee.
But yeah, so I set it up in the living room TV.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting on the couch watching it. I think about like 40 minutes in, I took a break. I heard something going on outside. I went, and then I started talking with neighbors.
So you just had it like going?
No, I paused it. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna watch it to the full extent.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give it my attention. But that's why whenever like something got my attention, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, let me pause this. Let me go do that.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, I kept watching. My dad was still outside, so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever. And I didn't expect it to go into like
The like psychosexual shit that it's like.
yeah, well,
leaning in
because
on.
again, like the very beginning, it's like you start with the father going to the hospital. He's
Yeah.
sick. Son's walking through this field. He finds the ear, and I'm like, okay, so like,
Yeah.
it's a murder.
It's a
mystery.
mystery. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't read the description until like 40 minutes in
Oh, okay.
because like I'm just like I'm going into this.
Yeah, 40-minute mark. I wonder why you decided, let me
Well,
check the description.
Well, because I had paused it, and
Yeah.
then when I went back, I'm like, oh, well, let me just read it because I didn't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. I'm like blind viewing,
Yeah,
going
yeah, yeah.
straight blind, and then I come back, and when I'm about to resume it, like
Yeah.
I see the description, I'm like, I might as well read this now, and it's like murder mystery, and then it says something about a sadist. I'm like,
Yeah.
wh-
What's
left?
for me, I thought like, no, that happens like minute 50, didn't it? Because
Yeah.
like as soon as you unpause it goes straight into that shit.
Yeah, so
okay.
I
Okay, so yeah, hold on. Before you get into that, Blue Velvet, directed by David Lynch, fucking 1986. This is straight off of him doing Dune. So he did the original Dune from 1986. Kyle MacLachlan is also in that. Fucking wonderful man. He also did Twin Peaks famously. I think that if you watch Blue Velvet, you get a lot of a feeling of like, okay, this is what he wanted to do, or this is what Twin Peaks was. Yeah, you know, like he did that first, and then like when you watch Twin Peaks, it's like, oh, okay, this is like the synthesis of everything that he was like trying to do with that.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Can you tell I'm not a film buff?
no, there's also a very famous scene in Blue Velvet.
Well, I'm gonna go through it. You stop me,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
a lot of
No,
it
yeah,
was
go
just
for it,
like,
yeah.
this is, you know, not necessarily what I expected.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't read the description till like 40 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
And then I resume it, and I'm like, well, this is something about a sadist.
yeah,
What's this? And then like I watch, like I resume, and then like
it immediately goes into the
yeah, well, not straight to that. It's just like let me break in, and I'm just like, all right.
oh yeah
we doing this, and then he sees her get like undressed, and I'm like,
yeah
what am I watching?
yeah
Like, I think I immediately texted you. I'm like, do you have me watching softcore porn?
yeah.
It really was. You just go into it. I'm like,
I'm trying to get you bricked up in the family living room.
yeah, and I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm like, I hope he doesn't, bro. If my dad walks in, well, just titties on screen, I'm gonna have to.
No, that's saying a lot too, because you watch anime.
Okay, look, I, in the comfort of my own room.
Oh, and you have the decency to like protect the rest of your family from.
I put them. I think what was the first episode of Chainsaw Man.
Oh, okay. That's fucking wild too, though.
But
I mean,
it's because
like,
I had a pochita, and I had to explain to them what the pochita is.
Okay, and like I guess episode 1 doesn't get into like the like.
Yeah, no.
Mommy, please, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't, but I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like they've seen some of the animes I've watched.
Yeah.
There's one called DIY that I was lazy, and I'm like, let me watch something that I could just watch dubbed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like reading right now. And DIY is only available dubbed in Japanese or
Spanish.
Spanish. So
Weird. It doesn't have like an English dub?
no, but honestly, I think it's pretty funny because she has a tiny pet pig and his name is Carnitas. And I'm like, I thought it was so funny. I showed my parents and like couldn't really give a fuck, but
Word.
you know, I found it entertaining. So
Yeah.
anyway, uh, eventually my dad did walk in.
Yeah.
It wasn't during any provocative scene or like anything like that, but I did give him context. I'm like, look, this is what I'm watching right now. This has happened so far. And it kept going. And you know, once there's a little bit of context, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Did you tell him that white man fucking sent you on this quest?
Context, that is what I call him. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't apologize.
Look,
fucking
man,
say it with your chest.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's better than just being straight white man. But I call you white man more than anything.
I mean, it's
Sala, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like the one token white friend in our Mexican friend group.
Yeah, we have one token white guy.
Yeah.
I think IRL, you're like the only white person I hang out with.
Yeah. Word.
Other than when I go to Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that? Like, it just doubles, or I guess triples. There's two more, but I don't go out there often.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, he sat down and watched it with me. Honestly, it gets weird.
To me, like it's one of those things where it's like I was talking to my partner, and I was like, it's like one of the most accessible Lynch films, and then they were like, no, he made Elephant Man. And I was like, oh yeah, but like it's like the most like recognizable Lynch movie that people are like, oh yeah, Blue Velvet, because like I think
so. One of them's more accessible, but the other one's more connected to like who they are.
Yeah, because like Elephant Man, like it won an Oscar, you know, and like any other fucking Lynch movie is just too weird to even be considered by the Academy.
Hey,
but they were like, they were like, hey man, we need to give this guy something because he's like one of the biggest like underground directors.
It's like, what was it? Kendrick Lamar got the what did he get? Oh damn. Kendrick Lamar. Well, they catch the part about you talking about him.
Lynch? Yeah. It was just whenever you started talking about Kendrick.
Okay, so Kendrick got.
Also, I'm gonna grab something, but you keep talking.
Yeah, go ahead. I got cameras. Don't worry. Yeah. He got like some sort of peace award or something for, Damn, which great album in my opinion, but I feel like that was more of like, you know, this is for them than it is for me.
Yeah. Because
it's very, very easy to listen to. Like,
well, like critically, it wasn't his like. You know, darling or anything, but like
I mean, it sold well. It's really great just to listen to, but I feel like he should have got more, like that Peace Prize for To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah, Macklemore.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, I feel like he would deserve this.
And yeah, my mom listens to Macklemore. Like she has him on a playlist, and every time like that shit comes on, I'm like.
Well, how does one of his songs? I used to think I was gay.
Fucking thrift shop in the 3rd grade.
That's not.
Is that not thrift shop?
I don't think it is.
I don't fucking know, man. It's Macklemore. Who the
yeah,
fuck
it's
listens to Macklemore?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters to a certain group of people.
Yes, a very specific select group of people.
He has a niche.
Yeah. Fucking
I like to think of myself as just like an average viewer. Like I'm not very into like production side of things. I feel like it's better to leave that to you. But as just like a blind watch, I mean it's an interesting film. I'll give it that. But it's not necessarily something that I'm gonna just be like, you know what, I feel like watching this right now.
Yeah. I have to agree. It's one of those movies where it's like I wanted to watch it just because, like, you know, Lynch passed recently, and it was like, yeah, he died like this year, so like it was one of those things where it's like I'd seen Inland Empire, which is like a 3-hour fucking slog, and like it just has all of these different stars, and it's essentially just David Lynch being like, I want you to crawl around like a baby, get down on all fours and crawl around on the floor. That would be so wonderful. Could you do that for me, please, Laura?
For 3 hours?
Kinda, yeah, because that's the type of like experimental like art house filmmaker he used to be. Like he came from
Pushing boundaries that no one really wanted to push.
yeah. Well, he came from like a visual arts background. Like he was a painter.
All right.
And then like he was like, "Oh man, it would be crazy if I could get my paintings to move."
Okay.
And then
So a live painting.
yeah,
Okay.
he wanted to go into filmmaking that way. So like that's why I chose it. It's just because like I'd only ever seen like Inland Empire and like a couple of episodes of like Twin Peaks, and I just keep hearing people talk about Blue Velvet and how fucked up it was. And you know, my like horror junkie brain, I'm like, okay, if it's fucked up, I'm willing to give it a shot. Let's do it.
Genuinely started cringing on the scene where was it his house or the mayor's house? Someone's house. No, not the mayor.
The detective or the
was-
chief police, right?
She was either in front of like the officer's house or his house. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, and the bully's like, "What? Is that your mom?"
Yeah, and like she's naked. Like when they go, it's the officer's house because
Yeah.
they walk in and the mom's there. So when they walk in and she's naked and she's just holding on to him,
Yeah.
and he's just staring at the like
And Laura Dern, who's like supposed to be his like girlfriend.
Yeah, even though like they kind of really don't do much. Like I get it,
yeah,
but they don't really do much to build that.
yeah,
Where it's like, remember, I love my boyfriend, and then it's like 2 scenes later, it's like, let's make out.
no, you don't understand. She talks about robins and light and how there's darkness and the robins represent love and how whenever
Really, that wasn't really made evident when they showed the bird at the end. But
yeah,
like,
yeah, and the grandmother's like, I don't know how they could do that.
yeah, but so it genuinely did kind of make me cringe. Where it's like
Yeah.
she's naked there, and they're like, "Let me get her a coat," but it's like, how about we just cover it up with
Yeah.
like anything? Like it, why?
Yeah,
Like please, just quickly. And she's like gripping onto him because obviously she
yeah, she's fucked up.
yeah, and it's not the character's fault. She got placed in a very
Yeah,
shitty situation, but the fact that that's going on, he's just there like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's like, please don't listen to her while she's actively like, hold me.
Yeah.
Hold. Like you see this woman suffer throughout the
Yeah.
whole film.
yeah,
Even like when it's up to her,
yeah,
she asks, like, hit me during like the scene where
Yeah.
it shows like they're both attracted to each other,
yeah,
and she's like, hit me.
yeah,
And he's like, no. And she's like, hit me. And he refuses. And then the second time, he smacks her. Like,
yeah,
Fuck that shit!
yeah, like, the second time, like, they're actually sleeping together.
Yeah.
And he, like, smacks her. You see her suffer in, like, physical, emotional, all of it.
Yeah.
It's just, like, torture to her.
yeah,
And she's broken down. And she thinks that this guy is, like, her savior. Like,
yeah.
he's the only one that can help her.
And he's like a fucking fresh out of college, like
He's
little,
fucking-
like twink.
He's a dick.
Yeah,
Like,
he reminds me so much of fucking Eric from That 70s Show. Like I could just see like Donna walking into the scene, and then like he's just like, "Oh hey Donna."
Yeah, and like it's just so weird because like it's not even like he tries to like go against that
Yeah.
the image that like she's portraying him in.
Yeah,
He kind of leans into it, like he's like, I'll hold you or whatever, like,
Yeah.
you know, like he's there for her or whatever. And then the next scene he's over there making out with this like high school girl.
yeah. For me, like I think it really is kind of like this. He's trying to deconstruct like this image of like the perfect American suburb and stuff like that, but like there's a lot of interesting elements to this film, but I feel like it doesn't really synthesize in a way that like kind of comes to a full message, you know?
If anything, I feel like the character, like, I can see portraying someone as like, oh, you know, someone could be like Two-Face or like,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
not everyone's perfect, but I feel like you could make it more realistic.
Yeah. Well, part of David Lynch's like vibe too is that he gets very like soapy, which I feel like it works for Twin Peaks because it's like a TV show from like the late 80s, you know? So it works. But like with this film, it's weird because like I was going to ask you, did you find this movie funny?
I
Because, like, it has, like, really high highs of being fucking hilarious. And then also will show you, like, the most fucked up shit where you're like, I can't laugh at that. But, like, you know,
like. Okay, so what did you find funny? Because there are certain things where just
Pabst Blue Ribbon!
yeah, I thought that was really weird.
that shit is hilarious.
Like, I think I did like laugh maybe a couple. I can't really remember at
Yeah.
what points, but it's just like there were certain things where I was just more like. I think the best way to describe it, I was more confused
Yeah.
than anything just watching this movie.
Yeah.
Because that Dos Equis thing, like, or not Dos Equis, my bad.
Heineken!
There you
Yeah.
go, Heineken. Him bringing up Heineken so much.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, my dad's like, do they have like something? I'm like, I don't know. Like, me and him were just sitting there like, Heineken's not even that good.
I think they need to take the clip of him like pissing and just muttering Heineken to himself and just make that into an ad in and of itself. It's fucking glorious.
Like the whole Heineken thing, I was so confused. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Why? I'm like, do they have some sort of? And then when the Pabst
Yeah.
Blue Ribbon,
Pabst Blue Ribbon!
yeah, PBR, you know, never drank it, but shout out, I guess.
Yeah.
They brought it like he tells him no, like Pabst Blue Ribbon. I was just like, so they don't have anything.
Sponsorship,
So
yeah.
why bring up Heineken? I'm like, does the director just really like
That's
Heineken?
David Lynch, brother. Like, his shit is so weird. I
like,
fucking love him.
I don't know if you know this. You know, you ever? If you tell me no right now, I'm about to cry.
Yeah.
But you've seen the first Fast and Furious movie, right? The Fast and the Furious.
No. I haven't seen it yet. If we do this again, we can watch the Fast
You're
and
telling me
Furious.
you've never watched the first? Okay,
I've never seen any of the series.
Okay,
I've never seen Fast and Furious. I've never seen Too Fast. I've never seen Tokyo Drift. I've only seen like clips of things. I mean, you
I'm
know
sorry,
me.
we're gonna
I
have
thought
to
that
cut it like
fucking-
right here. Right? Like, there's no way we're
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. I haven't seen a single thing yet. I've learned more about the series than I have like actually seen it.
Okay, so do you know about the Corona thing?
Yeah, they're sponsored by Corona.
No, but like the first movie
Well, what about it?
that they weren't sponsored at all by Corona.
Oh, okay. They just wanted a sponsorship or something?
I don't think they were actively looking for one.
Yeah.
I think it was Vin Diesel. I can't remember who, but someone on the production side
Was like so obsessed with it.
Yeah, that's why in the movie, like, it's so weird because they didn't have a deal with Corona.
That's awesome.
But at the party scene, I don't know if you remember the line.
I think I remember, like, what do you want to drink? And he's like, Corona.
No. At the party scene, when Brian barely meets, I don't remember Vin Diesel's name at this moment.
Yeah.
Dom.
Oh, yeah, Dom.
When Brian meets Dom, and then they evade the cops and they go to Dom's house.
Yeah.
He's like, you can have anything or like any beer you want as long as it's a Corona. And like that's all they have.
Yeah.
And eventually they did get a deal with Corona because like, you know, whoever on that team was obsessed with it so much that they're like, all right, you know what?
Yeah.
Throw you a bone. So I thought that was what was going on with the Heineken
No.
up until the PBR part. And then I'm just like, then what was that for? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
To me, like, okay, if I had to get fucking frou-frou film bro on you here, like, Heineken used to be this thing in, like, the 50s, 60s where, like, people would drink it to, like, show that they're, like, sophisticated.
Okay.
Right?
And then PBR is like the...
Well, like, I would say that, like, PBR is, like, the representation of the just, like, manly man kind of beer, especially in that time in the 80s. So I'm assuming that, like, the idea behind it, if Lynch had a fucking reason for it...
Well, even then, they bring up Bud.
Yeah,
they bring up Bud, too.
Yeah. So, like, I think it's just... they're talking about fucking beer. I honestly do, like, because that would be like the film bro thing of like, oh, okay, he's like going for that, like, I'm the sophisticated man from the 50s
like,
who's drinking Heineken, and then like you have like the guy who drinks PBR. But like, I really don't even think that's the case. I think they're just like,
well, you might be onto some because was it? She says that her dad, the officer, drinks Bud.
Oh, that's the other thing too. Did you think that her father was going to be in on it? Because I would have I expected it the whole fucking time. The beginning of the movie, he's like, "Don't worry about it, son." I was like, "Okay, so he's in on this whole entire thing."
So he's like, "Don't." He's like, "I can't tell you anything until we wrap up," and I'm like, "That kind of makes sense," but like the whole like, don't think about it.
Yeah,
like, I'm just like, what? Why should I not, bro? I found an ear. You want me to just forget I found an ear? And then, I think what kind of helped soothe it, whenever the corrupt officer was at his house, like outside his house, and like the guy's like, what do I do? What do I do? And then he tells him, look, just calm down. Like, don't ruin this. And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, so he is on his side, because I can see why you could be like, oh, he's trying to like get him, but nah, like I see that interaction, and in my mind, I immediately thought like, he's like, all right, so he's trying to play it straight. Yeah, he's telling him, he's like, don't.
I feel like that would have been like a better twist for like the mystery aspect of this too, right? Is that like, oh, the chief of police is also in on this.
Well, if you want to go all film, bro, it could be a red herring.
Oh,
but
oh my god, what do you mean? Tell me what you mean by it being a red herring.
Well, because like you said at the very beginning, it seems like, you know, he's being too nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
He's like telling him, he's like, don't worry about it. We can't really tell you anything until it's over. And it really does look like he's in on it. But I feel like if they really or if you said, what's his name? David Lynch?
Yeah, David.
If he really wanted it to be like some sort of like twist or surprise or something, he could have leaned a little bit more into like, he's in on it. And then at the end just be, you know, cut it back or like be like, we got him.
Like, that's the thing about it too. It's like, I don't think that he's like an exceptional writer at this like particular film.
Really, that Heineken part sold me.
No. But like, he makes an entertaining fucking movie. You gotta give him that.
No, that part where like she has him strip.
Yeah.
Do you like this? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you like this? No. I think that genuinely
with the fucking knife.
Like, do you like me playing with your balls? Yeah. You want me to stab you? I'm like, this is peak cinema.
Yeah. I wanted to really dig deep and find some critical.
When did you grab your phone when you went behind the camera?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait.
I wanted to dig deep and grab some critical insight on this. So I had my grandmother watch the film with me.
I mean, she's from your family. What she expect?
But you know my grandmother.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine me saying my grandpa down and be like, let's watch this, and then my grandpa's just like, oh, tits. Like,
yeah. So you know, she checked out after a certain point, but
I don't blame her.
Yeah. The following is a recounting of the review that she gave Blue Velvet.
Is this an audio clip?
No. Oh. I tried, and she was like, no. So I just wrote it down.
She refused.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. What was he breathing? I've never seen anything like that before. And what was that? Drugs or something? It doesn't make sense to me. That's weird. She has a baby and it's not there? I mean, it's weird. Who's that actor, Amy? Amy is my mother. Dennis Hopper. Oh! I'm just glad I don't know anybody like that.
So the thing about the drug, like what is that?
Yeah, what he's huffing.
Exact same conversation I had with my mom. Like, exact. Like, what is that? Is he doing drugs?
Yeah.
What's he huffing? I'm like, I don't know, probably.
The thing is that like he's huffing something, but like it's not connected to anything.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that?
I saw that. I was like
the tube doesn't lead anywhere.
I was really
so it's just kind of like,
and I didn't know if that was like, the first time I saw it, because I had like looked away.
Yeah.
And like I saw him huffing, and I'm like, oh, like. I didn't even see the mask. I thought
he's got the fucking gas. What's the galaxy gas? Is that what they call it?
So that's the brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nitrous, bro.
Yeah, nitrous.
He's on the nitrous. He's Kanye.
Yeah. Kanye's on the nitrous?
Have we not talked about that?
West is on the nitrous. Kanye West.
So, well, yay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, but so what tangents and tangents.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I'll tell you this real quick.
Yeah.
There's a video of him. His dentist got
Yeah.
him on nitrous, and he
So okay, continue.
a lot of people say that that's like him being off his meds and doing nitrous is
Okay.
basically what fueled past couple of years of him being the way he is.
Okay.
So whether you choose to believe that or not, that's up to you.
Yeah.
I saw a statement that I will repeat to you after we're done with this.
Okay.
But
No. Hit me with it now. That's fucking nuts.
yeah, there's a video of him that he sent Ryan. Do you know who Ryan Garcia is? The boxer.
Okay. Yeah.
Ryan Garcia, the boxer. He's like, hey Ryan, it's me. Yay, I'm off the nitrous. And like you see him with like the mask on. That is the whole clip. That he sent that to Ryan Garcia. There, it's just, hey, it's me. Yay, or hey Ryan, it's me. I'm off the nitrous. That's the whole clip.
Nice.
And like you see him just kind of like recording it. Like,
Yeah.
Like it's so fucked. But yeah, so I assumed I didn't immediately think it was like drugs
Yeah.
because it was. I think the first time he huffs it is when he's assaulting
Yeah.
her, or I guess, yeah, it's assault.
Yeah.
It's straight assault.
Yeah. It's rape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he had grabbed like her underwear or something because
Well,
I didn't see.
He did too. Like he grabs her robe and
Yeah,
like,
he cuts a piece
huffs
of
a
the
little
robe.
bit of that.
Yeah, but I just thought because again I didn't look. Whenever he put the thing to his mouth,
Yeah.
I thought it was like he grabbed her underwear or something. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, if you're assaulting someone, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Come to find out, it's a mask with the tube, but I don't ever see what it's connected to. So I'm like, I'm gonna just take it as nitrous.
Yeah.
But the way he was acting, I'm just like, I don't really know.
Well, he
I
pops a
don't.
pill later in the movie too. Like that is one thing that I'll give like Dennis Hopper for that performance. He acts like a drug addict like so well because he's so fucking annoying.
The scene where it actually I added the song to my playlist. What was it?
Fucking Blue Velvet?
No, in my dreams.
Oh yeah.
Or in dreams. I
Yeah.
don't remember what the song is
It's
called.
Roy Orbison, I think. So
Probably.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
yeah.
But the part where they're at what's the guy's name?
Ben.
Ben,
Yeah.
the one that has like the
The
powdered
makeup.
face.
Yeah.
So when they're at his house, he's like, play the song.
Yeah.
And what do you say like
The Sandman?
it's like candy colored.
Yeah, candy colored.
That's the first line,
Yeah.
candy colored Sandman. So he's like candy colored.
Yeah.
And he starts playing it and like you see Ben like lip singing and like
Yeah.
dancing around with the light.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's such a realistic portrayal where 1 second he's like, play the song. Like, do it, you got this.
Yeah.
And like he's enjoying it. And then
Yeah.
like he looks like he's pissed and
Yeah.
like all that. And I'm like, yeah, you're druggy.
Yeah. That's like the really cool aspects of the film, I would say. Like it really does well at like the characters and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And
Well-
like it's really interesting.
Oh, like the
to see
main character is kind of
performances.
just like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could have, if they were leaning into piece of shit, they could have built it better. But yeah,
Yeah.
like the other characters, they play their part really well.
Yeah. But it's just his character is so fucking funny.
Like it really does make you think like this guy's deranged.
Yeah.
Like he's fucking raping women.
Yeah.
He's I thought nitrous,
Yeah.
the popping the pill, drug addict kind of like erratic behavior.
Yeah.
And he plays it so well because at no point do you think, oh, this is a sane person that I can reason with. No,
Yeah.
at no point you're like, if I talk to him, I don't know whether or not like I'm gonna be okay at the end of this conversation because
Yeah.
he's so deranged with that like Pabst Blue, and that's the type of people you will meet. Someone very passionate about what they drink, what they take, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're just sitting there like I just want to ride this wave out and get out of here.
Yeah.
And that's very much the kind of like anxiety that you would or at least I feel like the movie does that really well, where it gives you that anxiety. You're
that
like, whoa,
that energy is like throughout the whole
that
thing.
drive.
Yeah.
When the main character's in the back seat of this like
Yeah.
of this, what was it, a Charger? Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
Charger,
Yeah.
and he's just like squished there,
Yeah.
and he says something, and he turns around, and, like he's mad, he's
Yeah.
pissed, and you're just like, yeah. Well, imagine being in that situation. You wouldn't want to be in that situation, especially with that guy driving,
Yeah.
huffing whatever he's huffing, driving like a maniac.
Yeah. It's
I'm sorry, by the way. I see how it feels.
yeah. When you're
When I'm
fucking
driving
going down
off the nitrous.
Yeah.
I'm driving off the nitrous.
down a one way.
Ryan Garcia. No.
I mean, no. But
Yeah. Trying to beat the train.
yeah.
All for some Jimmy John, bro.
Jimmy John's rush.
Bro, we got there in time, and then they're like, "Nah, bro, we turned everything off."
Yeah.
Come on, I made it before 9. Like,
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I'll probably watch another Lynch. I would not be surprised if you watch this one and you're like, I'm good. But like,
I mean, if we're doing this again, I'm game. Like,
yeah. I want to have a good variety of shit.
Yeah,
too.
no.
Like I'm thinking maybe like if we do this again, maybe like we trade like albums or something.
oh yeah.
At some point.
When you brought up we're either doing films or albums, and then I forgot what else you said. I was agreeing to the other thing, and then you're like, all right,
Oh,
film.
okay.
Bro, I was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. But I was like, bro, if we did albums, I feel like I could have a little bit more to be like, oh, listen to this.
Well, yeah, fuck it. We could do that next time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Pabst Blue Ribbon!
I've been sober from alcohol for almost a year, but I'm still adamantly a Modelo man. It's the Mexican in me. That's how I'm raised, bro.
Yeah.
Modelos. It don't matter what it is. Well, I've never had the Texas ranch water, but
The fuck is Texas Ranch?
the ranch water, I guess. There's different cocktails and stuff, but Modelo makes like so many products now.
Hmm.
Back in my day, they only had, in the U.S. at least, they had the Oro, or not the Oro, the Pico de Oro, which is just a regular like Modelos,
Yeah.
and the Negras.
Mm.
And now they got like the cheladas that you could buy. They got like ranch waters. I think they got like other mixes too now. They have agua frescas, I think.
Oh yeah, to get the children into drinking.
Oh yeah. Nah, we got buzz balls for that.
Yeah, no
bro,
shit.
my coworkers underage drinking. Crazy.
Yeah, fucking Arizona hard.
Oh, have you tried the Monster?
No, oh my fucking god, are you kidding me?
No,
Does
no
it have
caffeine.
energy? Okay.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know that because
Yeah.
they would just like black out and then.
Yeah, For Loco.
Yeah.
For Loco made that illegal
Yeah.
in the U.S. at least. I heard that Mexico is still.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
I heard. I don't know how
That's
accurate that is.
crazy.
But yeah, no, you ever try the Monster? It's just like alcoholic Mountain Dew.
Nice.
It's genuinely good. I like it. Haven't had Mountain Dew in a minute, but
Yeah.
alcohol in it, sure, why not?
There's the Arizona, there's I think Minute Maid got in
Yeah.
on it. What the fuck?
Caritos, bro. The what's it called? Cantaritos.
Yeah.
Bro, you buy a case of that and you invite like Jonathan or Armando, man, they'll kill that. I tried it because I was able to get some before I went sober because it was out for a minute, but some of these things didn't come out till after I went sober, which great timing. Like the grog thing that we are talking about from Australia, man.
Yeah.
Grog came to the US like last month.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to look. It's
all about self-control, okay?
Yeah, well, I still got other vices I'm dealing with, but hey, alcohol's out. But yeah, so
Like autoerotic asphyxiation.
yeah, my doctor told me I can't do that no more. I'm joking. I haven't seen a
Fuck
doctor in
'em.
years.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Well, no, I can't do that either. It's assault. Maybe cut that part.